After England defeated the French at the Battle of Brimoul, Normandy was back in King Henry's hands. But 1 year later, his good fortune turned to tragedy. In 1120, his son and heir William Adelin died in a shipwreck. The future of Henry I's kingdom was in jeopardy. Henry desperately needed a new heir. With no legitimate sons left alive, he broke with tradition and chose his daughter, Matilda. Henry forced his barons to swear an oath to accept Matilda as queen. But when the king died, they broke their promise. England would not be ruled by a woman. Matilda's cousin Stephen saw his chance and claimed the throne. The crisis moved to the capital. At Westminster Abbey, Stephen was crowned king, but Matilda wanted what was hers. She was also lining up powerful supporters who would fight Stephen for her right to rule. Their conflict engulfed England in civil war. Fighting raged throughout the land. In 1141, everything focused on one of the kingdom's most strategic cities, Lincoln. Matilda's allies had commandeered the castle. But King Stephen was determined to take it back. He besieged the castle. Stalemate. As dawn broke on February the 2nd, everything was about to change. Matilda's half-brother, Robert of Gloucester, raced to break the siege. As Robert's forces approached Lincoln, Stephen's army turned away from the castle to face them. Robert could win Matilda the crown, but only if his army could win the day. Robert of Gloucester's forces approached Lincoln. Their task, to liberate the castle from King Stephen's siege. While behind Lincoln's walls, troops loyal to Matilda held the castle for the Empress. First, Robert's forces would stage an ambush to prevent enemy reinforcements from joining with King Stephen's army. Robert's men concealed themselves in a sheltered grove and lay in wait for the enemy.
What will that itch do us so thuhetist? Men av arm, itch obey thine hess. Itch do us so what beeth in hesten, itch fortheth in hess. Hereway fab, itch obey thine hess. What will that itch so hess, alia, send a metam in itch fortheth in hess. Itch so hess, itch fortheth in hess.
With a shul itch go and me duty. Ik ga me found at the bow!
Itch obey thine hess.
Robert defeated the first column of Stephen's reinforcements, but he knew more were on the way.
What will take to us worth wettest? Ich so es aliada. Essa should be here. Ich forfetin his. Essa should be here.
It's down the ball!
We haven't been a gun! Here we have blood. Essa should be here.
With more of Stephen's reinforcements eliminated, Robert was steadily undermining the siege.
Send me to minun ich tuo sua thuhetest. Ich sua hessa aliatta. Ich obey thine hess. Ich sua hessa aliatta.
Cursor is saddled, Scouter is ready. Ich habe gefunden, the
What
foe!
wilt thou?
It's sailed the foe!
Ich forfetin hess.
Scouters is ready to lead! Avoid them! Read it outside them, Scouters! Scouters, freedom ute! Så ender mitt ute!
Every chance available to go in Menemarmes.
Robert's men decimated King Stephen's reinforcements and were poised to break the siege. Continuing the push towards Lincoln, Robert sent in a large company of reinforcements to aid his vanguard. To further weaken the siege, Robert would need to cut off Stephen's supplies. He targeted the nearby market town.
Scouters, read it outside, Scouters. Way here, reader, Scouters.
Entendet periende hestes.
Scout, way reader.
Hestes kommes.
Give me häst. Follow in the häst. Ich kan Vendors is sending nearby. Read the swahid. Het wel beeld.
Ja, periende hestes nu. Voliente hestes. And swift, yes.
Scouters, I'm ready to move. Vendors is sending nearby.
Matilda's cause, a large group of knights arrived at Lincoln to bolster Robert's army. With the market town in ruins, King Stephen's supplies began to dwindle. Robert received word that Welsh troops under Matilda's banner were en route to join forces with him. But King Stephen had the roads to Lincoln heavily guarded, and the route was not without risk, even for the hardy Welshmen.
Freck and sweet, yes. Och det vill se which limit to here. Who stayed soon as they had.
Making their way to Lincoln, Matilda's Welsh allies were ambushed by the king's soldiers. Robert's men would need to aid the Welsh if they wanted their help in breaking the siege. Joining forces on the road to Lincoln, Matilda's allied troops made for the castle to lift the siege. Robert's forces spotted a large detachment of Stephen's soldiers guarding the castle gates. If they hoped to liberate Lincoln, they would need to break the blockade and rout the army.
Glidande när hördes når never down.
Robert's forces scattered the king's army, leaving the gates to the castle unguarded.
Yes,
Robert's men finally united with Lincoln's garrison. They could now use the castle to strengthen their army. To lift the siege, they needed to destroy the enemy camps surrounding the castle.
Yes, and sweet, yes. Arthur Canitas Yara. Alla Canitas Yara.
Hästes kommer här igen, det är hästes nu. Dresset jag arve, uppnän färre arve. Kiere hästes. Asteria, rafte, boa ilzibu, hästes en odd boamen. Beo flippeli, on the quar of serveth chef. Quar of serveth chef.
Arthur Canitas Yara. Gritas, und Rida, thou Apple Lucas. For honor, Mr. Apple Gritas. Gritas, put the best. Und Rida, thou Apple Lucas. Niemand Thomas Soltas. Keepeth good fettle, Gritas. Experiment, standard and presented.
Hästes kommer. Följande hästes.
What day this way on dawn? Benito, Starless with. So it's in Chesendeus.
Yardration. Hästes cometh arwe.
Hartes speremen, stirret jou.
Each win and wet. Yeah.
After Kute is none more dead.
Hästes steppeth to it, Arwemen. Qua of serpent shattered. Dresseth thou can do. And ten Nutha cometh on.
Greetings, another time. It's limit to hear. It's limit to hear. Sultans! Greetings! Fort Warner, greetings! To school! Greetings! In the next half! And then take to Sora! Give us good battle, greetings! Today is number 9. Legatus Reader! Siitä Hestes.
Tell thing to do.
Dresset jou Arwen Switzer, yes.
Knitas, stand in there.
Hestes cometh Arwen, Hestes and on, Boemen. Suel te heta.
What needeth be undone?
Övre Irene, dating head. Övre Chan. And stirreth out there every chat. A stirreth? We haven't stirred as we on had.
Boa is I boon. Dresset jou Arwen, man.
Yes, Arwen, man.
Knitas jakt för Arnes mästa Arnes Knitas. För Arnes Knitas! För Arnes Knitas! Andette to Sana! Servas! Knitas! Put that new sail!
Every chance. Hold it at answer. Till then day that
Knitas, another time. Put Reader, thou Applepolis. It's living you here! For one that will be raised, Knitas! Today is number that! Santas! It's living you here!
Lockers.
Forward bolt on! Knitas, stand in there. For Arneth, Mr. Atle Knitas. All of Knitas, reader, thou Atle Knitas. Atle Knitas is living together. Vanitas!
Hästes cometh Arwen here, Hästes. It can do. And Suiza, yes.
Järve på Plutton Bala.
Freckes Haken, nu Hästes.
Alla Knitas, let us read it, Knitas.
Hästes en onbo, heriende Hästes nu. Hästes kopoliende, Hästes Asteria. Brate Arwen. Here, Hässueth, Hästes en onbo, men.
It is Sita for Actus. For what they breakfast, mit Baldenes.
Yahweh chefen! Pressen jou Arwen. Op mijn verre Arwen.
Alla Knitas, met good fat Knitas.
Pressen jou Arwen. Yahweh chefen! War of servant chefen!
Knitas, du säger none but dead.
Hästes en onbo! Astiria! Brate Arwen! Heriende Hästes nu! Hästes konduva!
It's never to hear that! Let us read it, Knitas. What will tell? Atto chi forate questa atto, Knitas. Addette to serve.
Sita has left Gelangin on the reaper railings.
Knitas, certes. Sweden may have shared it! Good battle, Knitas! Sita Hästes. Alla Knitas, ja! Alla skytten!
Matilda's forces struck hard, destroying one of King Stephen's siege camps.
Fusse tolkes.
Järve på Plutton Bala!
Forlende Hästes.
In the sun, what will... Finito, standende iare. Look at your be ready. Certes. But me no word. It is sea shall lay the yow.
Drop! Estes commander.
Jute is none borden. It's live to hear it. Weapon direct! Even if it was reading.
King Stephen's army dwindled as Matilda's forces struck down another siege camp.
Chiere, Knitas, keep that good fettle, Knitas. And then take to serve.
The king's army was scattered, and those who didn't fall fled.
For Arneth, Mr. Athel Knitas.
King Stephen was spotted, shielded by his men. To end the siege, Matilda's forces needed to capture Stephen and rout his army.
Come! Estes commander.
Ontifota, spera, Hestes and onbo, Bale sleepily. Hestes compariende, Hestes nu. Chiere, sues they had. Athel Knitas intendas. Yes. Knitas Janus,
Matilda's men closed in and finally captured King Stephen. Matilda's forces had won the battle at Lincoln. But the fight for the crown was not over yet. A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances. At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of two that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.